That device you're watching this on, your phone, your laptop, whatever. It has a history that starts, believe it or not, with simple beads on a wire. Today, we're going to trace the absolutely astonishing journey of the computer, from an ancient counting tool all the way to the engine that runs our entire modern world.
So to really wrap our heads around the power we hold on our hands every day, we've got to go way, way back to the very beginning. The big question is, how on earth did we get from this?
The abacus. We're talking about the earliest known counting device, right? A super simple tool of beads and rods that merchants were using thousands of years ago in the ancient world. And then, somehow, humanity made the monumental leap from that simple, ancient tool all the way to this? Yep, the modern smartphone. A little device that has more computing power than all of NASA had when they put a man on the moon. The gap between these two is just staggering, and it's a story of incredible human ingenuity that we're about to unpack. So our story really kicks off with a simple, ancient quest, the search for a machine that could finally conquer numbers for us. You know, after the abacus, things were, well, pretty slow for a few thousand years. But then, boom, the 17th century hits and the pace just explodes. First, we get Napier's bones for multiplication. That's followed by Pascal's gear-driven machine, the Pascaline. And then Leibniz comes along and creates a machine that could do it all: add, subtract, multiply, and divide. You can literally see the evolution happening right here. These were the first absolutely critical steps toward automatic calculation.
Okay, but just calculating is one thing. Creating a machine that can actually follow complex instructions, that's a whole different ballgame. For that, we need to jump ahead to the 19th century, where the very idea of a computer was born. And that brings us to this guy, Charles Babbage. He was an English mathematician who's often called the father of the computer, and for good reason. His ideas were, no joke, about a century ahead of his time. So Babbage designed two totally groundbreaking machines. The first, the difference engine, was basically a super powerful, single-purpose calculator. But the analytical engine, now that was the true revolution. It wasn't built for just one job. Babbage designed it with memory, a way to input information, and a way to get results out. You know, the core DNA of every single computer that would ever follow. He had literally imagined the modern computer. But Babbage's engine, brilliant as it was just hardware. It needed a mind, a programmer, to tell it what to do. And that mind belonged to Ada Lovelace.
And here's the genius of Lovelace. She saw something that even Babbage hadn't quite grasped. She realized his machine could manipulate not just numbers, but any symbol, musical notes, letters, you name it. By writing the first ever complex instructions for it, the first algorithm, she foresaw a future where these machines could do so much more than just calculate. She basically invented the concept of software. The thing is, Babbage and Lovelace's ideas were just too far ahead. The mechanical tech of the 1800s just couldn't build their amazing vision. For the next big leap forward, the world needed a brand new force: electricity. Now, this switch from clunky mechanical gears to full-on electronics didn't happen overnight. There were some key steps in between. One was using punched cards to store data. A guy named Herman Hollerith used them to process the 1890 U.S. Census, and the company he started? It eventually became IBM. Fast forward to 1944, and Harvard's Mark I computer was using electrical signals to flip mechanical switches. We were getting so close, we were right on the verge of a breakthrough. And here it is. In 1946, the world finally met ENIAC. This was it, the first general-purpose electronic computer. It had 0 moving parts, relying instead on thousands and thousands of vacuum tubes. So what did going fully electronic actually mean? One word: speed. ENIAC was 1,000 times faster than its electromechanical predecessors, like the Mark I. 1,000 times! This wasn't just a small improvement, it was a complete and total revolution in computing power. And that revolution kicked off a period of incredibly rapid evolution. You can actually break it down into 5 distinct generations, and each one is defined by a single technological leap that made computers smaller, faster, and way more powerful. So how exactly did we go from machines that filled an entire room to the phones in our pockets? Well, it's a story told in 5 acts. First, we had those huge, hot, bulky vacuum tubes. Then they were replaced by tiny, super reliable transistors. After that, we figured out how to cram thousands of those transistors onto a single integrated circuit. But the real game changer was the 4th generation, the microprocessor. That's an entire computer brain on one tiny chip, and it gave birth to the personal computer. And that brings us to today, the 5th generation, which is all about AI, and this idea that everything and everyone is connected. When you look back at it, you see this perfectly clear pattern, right? This entire history is really a story of miniaturization. Each leap, from the vacuum tube to the transistor to the microprocessor, had the exact same incredible effect, making computers smaller, faster, cheaper, and ultimately putting them into the hands of everyone. And that accessibility, putting that power in everyone's hands, is what truly changed the world. It took the computer from being a specialized tool locked away in a lab and made it an essential part of our daily life.
This last part of the journey is the one we've all actually lived through. The PC revolution put a computer in our homes, then the internet came along and connected them all together. After that, mobile devices put all of that connected power right into our pockets. And now, we're stepping into the AI era, where those devices are becoming truly, genuinely intelligent.
So we've gone from the Abacus, a tool designed purely for counting, to modern AI, a tool that is capable of creating art and music and writing. The journey has been absolutely incredible. And it leaves us with one final, fascinating question. What's going to be their next great leap?